Noche UFC is here, the first ever combat sports event at the Sphere in Las Vegas. Not the best pay-per-view card, but as always, plenty of money to be made. Let's get into it. First fight of the night, we got Ronaldo Rodriguez taking on Osbourne. So Rodriguez, he's 16-2. That is 1-0 in the UFC. Osbourne is 12-7 with one no contest. That is 4-5 in the UFC. Rodriguez has won 6 in a row since losing on Contender Series back in 2020. 4 of those 6 wins have come by finish. Osbourne, he's lost 3 of his last 4, and he was finished in all 3 of those losses. Rodriguez, only 25 years old. Ode, 32. I'm taking the over half round here, playing it safe, minus 475. Obviously, going to parlay it. Rodriguez, he's hit it in 5 straight fights, and 16 of his 18 pro fights have hit it. Ode's hit it in 4 of his last 5, and 14 of his 20 pro fights have hit it. That is 79% of their combined pro fights hitting the over half a round. If you guys are looking for anything else to take, how about Rodriguez by finish, plus 175? 12 of his 16 wins have come by finish, and Ode's been finished 6 times, including all 5 of his UFC losses. Another play, the over 2.5. It's plus 125. I don't love this one at all. Super risky, but Rodriguez has hit it twice in his last 5 fights, and Ode's only hit it twice in 9 UFC fights, but those 2 times came in his last 3 fights. So recently he's been hitting it. I don't know. Do with that what you will. Next fight of the night, we got Daniel Zellhuber taking on Esteban Ribovics. So Zellhuber, he's 15-1. That is 3-1 in the UFC. Ribovics is 13-1. That is 2-1 in the UFC. Zellhuber's won 4 of his last 5, and 4 of those fights did go the distance. Ribovics also won 4 of his last 5, but 3 of those 4 wins came by knockout. Zellhuber, also only 25 years old. Ribovics, 28 years old. I'm going to take the over 1.5 rounds here. It's minus 245. I'm going to parlay it. I'll get to it in a bit. Zellhuber's hit it in 5 straight, including all 4 of his UFC fights. Ribovics has hit it in 2 of his 3 UFC fights, so feeling good about that. If you guys are looking for anything else to take on this fight, how about Zellhuber by decision, plus 130? 2 of his 3 UFC wins came by decision, and his Contender Series win was also a decision victory. And Esteban's lone career loss, you guessed it, came by decision. Another prop to take, fight does not go the distance, plus 130. 10 of Zellhuber's 16 pro fights have not gone the distance, and 12 of Ribovics' 13 pro fights have not gone the distance. That is 76% combined. The only caveat being neither of these guys has been finished before. Next fight of the night, probably the best fight of the night, Brian Ortega taking on Diego Lopes. So Ortega, he's 16-3 with one no contest. That is 8-3 with one no contest in the UFC. Lopes, he's 25-6. That is 4-1 in the UFC. Ortega has lost 3 of his last 5, but they came to 3 current or former champions. Lopes has won 4 of his last 5. His only loss came in his UFC debut on short notice to Movsar Evloev, so not a bad loss at all. Ortega, still only 33 years old. I feel like he's getting up there. Diego, 29 years old. I'm going to ride with Diego Lopes here, money line, minus 170. I'm going to parlay it with the over half a round in Rodriguez Osbourne and the over 1.5 in Zellhuber Ribovics. That gets me plus 171. I like that parlay a lot. I hate going against T-City here, but I just think Diego, he's in his prime right now. Ortega's lost 3 of his last 5. And I don't think either guy is going to want to test each other on the ground. I think it's going to be a striking affair. And I just see Diego having the edge. Looking for anything else to take? How about Diego by decision? Plus 200. Only 2 of his 5 UFC fights have gone the distance, but his last win was a decision victory. And Ortega's gone to round 3 or later in 4 of his last 5. So he's tough, man. He hangs in there a while. And as I mentioned, it could be a slow pace. You know, neither of them really wanting to test each other on the ground, keep the distance. You know the drill. Maybe you want to ride with Ortega, though. T-City's plus 150 right now. Already mentioned he's only lost to former champions. 7 of his 8 UFC wins have come by finish. And Diego hasn't even fought anyone in the top 5 yet, where Ortega's been fighting for, the last few fights. Looking for an extra sprinkle. How about Ortega by sub? They give you a whole 550 on top of it. It comes out to plus 700. 8 of his pro wins are by sub, including 4 of his 8 UFC wins. Diego has never been sub before, but you guys already know. Ortega's one of a kind on the ground. He can sub anyone. Nice parlay piece if you're looking for it. Fight does not go the distance. It's minus 135. 14 of Ortega's 20 pro fights have not gone the distance, and 24 of Diego's 31 pro fights have not gone the distance. That is 75% combined. And both of these guys have been finished before. So, co-main event, we got the trilogy. Alexa Grasso taking on Valentina Shevchenko. I already mentioned this is the trilogy. First fight, Grasso won by sub late in round 4 back in March of last year. They had a rematch almost exactly a year ago. It was scored a split draw. But if you guys remember, Mike Bell, gave Alexa Grasso a 10-8 in the last round, which is just absurd. It was a 10-9 at best. And had he not done that, Shevchenko would have won the fight. Instead, it's a draw. Take it with you what you will. Grasso is 16-3-1. That is 8-3-1 in the UFC. Shevchenko is 23-4-1. That is 12-3-1 in the UFC. 3-2 at bantamweight. 9-1-1 at flyweight. Grasso's unbeaten in 6 straight fights. 4 of those fights did go the distance. And Shevchenko's unbeaten in 4 of her last 5. 3 of those ending by finish. Grasso's 31. Chevy getting up there, 36 years old. Not going to stop me from taking her, though. Plus 102 Chevy money line, riding with Shevchenko. The second fight was so close, dude. And I mean, she won. Let's be real. And you're going to give me the 7-time defending champion at plus money, only 1 fight removed from actually losing. Like, come on. This seems like a no-brainer. I mean, even if she is getting up there in age, it's worth just taking a shot on, just like Gilbert Burns was last week, If you guys are looking for anything else to take, how about over 4.5 as a parlay piece, minus 170? Grasso's hit it in 2 of the 3 5-rounders that she's been scheduled for in the UFC, and Shevchenko's hit it in 7 of the 13 5-rounders that she's been scheduled for in the UFC. Looking for anything else to take? How about Grasso by decision, plus 175? 10 of her 16 career wins have come by decision, and Shevchenko has lost by decision twice before. If you want to ride the other side, how about Chevy by decision, plus 150? 8 of her 23 career wins have come by decision, and Grasso has lost by decision in 2 of her 3 career losses. Main event, Sugar Sean O'Malley taking on Merab Dvalishvili. Let's go, Merab. O'Malley, he's 18-1 with 1 no contest. That is 10-1 with 1 no contest in the UFC. Merab is 17-4. That is 10-2 in the UFC. O'Malley, he is unbeaten in 7 straight fights. 4 of those wins coming by knockout. Merab is on a 10-fight win streak with 9 of those coming by unanimous decision, baby. Sean, 29 years old. Merab, 33. You guys already know I'm riding with Merab moneyline plus 102. Get this stat. Sean's been taken down 11 times in 12 UFC fights. He has a 62% takedown defense. Not that great. Merab, 69 takedowns in 12 UFC fights. He averages 6 takedowns per 3 rounds. He's on a 10-fight win streak, and he's already beaten elite wrestlers during that stretch that have way better takedown defense than Sean O'Malley. I just see Merab taking him down relentlessly over the course of 5 rounds, and I'm riding with Merab here, money line plus 102, baby. Let's go. If you guys are looking for anything else to take, how about Merab by decision? Just mentioned that's probably how he's going to do it. It's plus 130. 13 of his 17 career wins have come by decision, including 9 of his 10 UFC wins. And his lone 5-rounder in the UFC, he also won by decision. Looking for anything else? I mean, obviously, the other side is O'Malley could knock him out. O'Malley by KO, plus 190. 12 of his 18 wins have come by knockout. Merab's never been KO'd, but we've seen him seriously hurt in multiple fights. Looking for a parlay piece. How about the over 4.5 rounds? It's minus 150. Sean's only been scheduled for 2 5-rounders, but hit it in one of them, and Merab hit it in his lone 5-rounder.
I'm worth 100,000 like Woodrow. When a ball call me Wilson, going overboard at the Hilton.